And welcome to the Designed by Louise Jakobsen English Summer Garden. That's a catchy title, isn't it, Louise?
Yeah, when I called it English Summer Garden, I didn't envisage it to have my name at the beginning as well.
Inspired by, designed by. Oh, it's going to be fantastic. We have half an hour today to show you a fantastic project which Louise has been working on, which is based around genuine gemstones. There's some wire in there. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous collection of gemstones we've got here. So let me show you what you're going to be getting. First of all, rose quartz barrels, beautiful genuine gemstone. Symbolising love, symbolising unity, symbolising romance. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous genuine gemstone here. And at Jewellery Maker, we give you the gorgeous quality you're going to be getting here. So stunning pinks, beautiful translucent quality, effortless texture, 290 carats in total, followed by 380 carats of garnet. Oh my word, this is gorgeous. Did you put this all together, Louise?
I did.
This is stunning garnet, isn't it?
We don't get garnet in very often and it's beautiful.
I know. I can imagine Louise waiting for this garnet to arrive and just swiping it from everybody. You're not having it, it's for my design buy. I mean, it's gorgeous. Really, really beautiful garnets here. Really stunning round red wine burgundy coloured 10mm rounds of natural garnet. It's totally, totally natural. There's no heat treatment, there's no dyeing here. It is all completely natural, which is just gorgeous. To add to the gemstone quality, you're going to be getting as well, I'll put those there, 1, 2, 3, we're not going to go on forever, don't worry, 4, 5 of these stunning pink drusies. Now these are drusi agates. It is a genuine gemstone that's been dyed, and it's where agate, where drusi crystals attach themselves to agate. So that sparkle you can see there is all natural, and it's just been dyed this gorgeous candy floss pink colour. So 5 of these gorgeous drusies and 100 meters. Goodness me, this is like gold dust. 100 meters of chartreuse coloured 0.8mm gauge wire. Now, 0.6 and 0.8mm gauge wire are probably your most versatile gauges of wire, and we'll see how Louise has used this incredible gauge of wire throughout her project. But it's fantastic for making your own findings, fantastic for the more structured pieces of wire work, but it also has that flexibility that maybe 1mm gauge wire can't give you, in the fact that you can still make the most wonderful shapes with this wire. Having a 100-meter spool is just superb, and if you've been watching Jewellery Maker for the last few weeks, for the last few months, for the last few years, you know that wire is something which we always, always, always want to get in stock, and it very often sells out. So, rose quartz, garnet 10mm rounds, wow, natural garnet 10mm rounds, 5 of your drusi agates, and 100 meters of your 0.8mm gauge chartreuse coloured copper wire. One great price. We're going to go over and see the incredible project Louise has been working on within the next few seconds. Here is your deal today. Give us a call. Now that is a free phone number from our BT landline, or get involved on our website, jewellerymaker.com. There's your code. It is JJGC42. Copy and paste that into our website. It's yours. $49.95 for a stunning collection of genuine gemstones and 100 meters of wire. Do you know what, Louise? I'm looking at this bundle and I'm thinking, even for the wire, that's a great price, isn't it?
Yeah, 0.8, really versatile, green, perfect for this time of year. Yeah, definitely.
And if you go elsewhere, if you go online, or you go to other shops, or you go to other shopping channels, what kind of price would you expect to pay for wire, for 100 meters of wire? Not only is this a fantastic spool of wire, but it's fantastic quality wire. It's very, very pliable, very easy to work with. And we'll speak to Louise in a few seconds about what she thinks of the wire in this kit, because it is such an integral part to this collection. So £49.95. Let's go and see all these incredible pieces. Shall I take all this over, or shall I leave it here? What do you reckon? Shall I leave it there? I'm going to leave it there. Louise, what do you think of the wire? Because I know the wire with this collection's really, really integral, and it's the basis of all your pieces of jewellery here. What's the Jewellery Maker wire like to work with?
It's really beautiful to work with. I mean, I had my beginners workshop yesterday, and everyone there was saying it's really pliable. You can really use it, but it's still got the structure to it. It's amazing, and it's so smooth. The coating on it is brilliant. So yeah, I love working with it, as you can see.
So it's pliable, but without being too soft. Because some wires are quite brittle, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And some are so soft that you have to work hard on them, but these, just by twisting them and looping them like I've done, that work hardens it enough for it to be really strong.
This is an amazing piece of jewellery that you've made here, Louise. This looks like it's just the inside of your brain. You've just gone completely down the organic route with this.
Yeah.
Is this something which evolved or something which you designed?
I laid out the gemstones on my board and had a rough idea of where I wanted the drusies to sit and how I might want it to look, but effectively it made itself. It was just as I did it, the swirls happened.
It's just gorgeous. I love it. Let's have a look at these other pieces. You've made some beautiful earrings here. And it goes, the green wire goes so beautifully with both the garnet and the rose quartz.
It does. It looks really pretty and feminine against the rose quartz, and then it just kind of really stark contrast against the garnet.
Isn't it just? And then you've got this gorgeous wire work ring where you've used the druzy.
Oh, you have to showcase it, don't you? Give it a bit of a frame.
Definitely. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Beautiful. And then a stunning bracelet here where you've framed the druzy again.
Yeah.
But again, it's got the kind of vine work, the kind of organic work that you've got in the necklace as well. It's all tied together beautifully. It is like a vine, isn't it? It's gorgeous.
Yeah, that was my inspiration really, with the kind of garnet rose colours and the pink colours. It's really summery and, you know, kind of like a garden.
Awesome. What are you going to be showing us today then, Louise?
I'll show you the ring first, and then we'll look at some of how the necklace comes together.
Brilliant. Yes, please. Right, I'll move the ring over here. There you are, lovey.
So what I've cut is about 1.5 meters of wire, and we're just going to get one of the drusies on there, and the point 8 goes through the druzy no problem, so that's really good.
Yeah, definitely.
So pop it into the centre of the wire, and then I'm just going to put a bend in the wire in both sides so that we're pointing in slightly opposite directions. It just holds it there because while we're working on one side we can actually then it's not going to slip around.
Okay.
And then if I reach the round nose pliers, we're going to start the frame. So effectively what we're going to do is continuously loop around the round nose pliers.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to do it in halves. So effectively we're going to do 4 halves to create the double layered frame so that it's really secure, you're not going all the way around in one go. So I've popped the pliers in there and I'm going to push the wire behind the pliers and round. And if I shuffle the pliers slightly, it'll let the wire come round the front. And that effectively is your first loop.
Okay.
And then you repeat that, so you move it to the side a little bit, and remembering which direction you went in so it looks consistent. Pull that round again.
Okay. I can see, right.
So you can see
lovely,
two of them there. And it is just a matter of doing that, and I did it round all of the drusies in the necklace as well, so I just thought it was a really nice way of framing them.
It is.
And making it look like a flower as much as anything else,
Absolutely,
really.
yeah. But it's kind of reversing the flower because you'd normally expect the green to be on the inside of the flower rather than the petals on the outside, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's just kind of how my brain works, really.
Inside out. I like that. Oh, that's fantastic. It's really coming along nicely.
Yeah, it doesn't take long. And, you know, just kind of, if you're new to wire, just take your time wrapping round. And it doesn't even matter, again, it looks quite organic if the loops are at slightly different sizes. And then you just pull it round, and when you're roughly at the side, we can fit probably one more in there.
Do you know what, you made a really good point there, because I think this is fantastic for a beginner who's never worked with wire before, because it is quite a nice simple technique to do. And a wire work ring is one of the first wire pieces that a lot of people go into making. I just think it's lovely, and it's only using one gemstone. It's using minimal amounts of wire as well.
Yep, definitely. And then all I'm going to do is use the flat nose pliers just to flatten those out slightly. That also strengthens it a little bit, so you don't need to hammer it or anything, so just doing that. And you can see there, it's now overlapping where the wire's coming out of the opposite side.
Yeah.
So all I'm going to do, keep that tension on it and pull it around there. Oops, there we go. And then we can literally, what we're going to do actually is use that one to go back that way round. We swap to this one to do the other half.
Yeah.
So
this is the half you haven't used yet, is that right? Yeah.
So that also hides where you've just covered that bit there. So if I quickly do these here. Again, you can see this is genuinely real time, how quick it really is to do this. So we'll have a single row in literally 20 seconds.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, really, really, really simple to do. And all you need is your basic toolkit. So you don't need any fancy tools for this. I'm going to use a ring mandrel, but you can use a pen. You can use anything that's round, a nail varnish bottle if you haven't got a mandrel, if you're not sure if you want to do it yet. So we've got round to the other side, and we're just going to hook it around that first loop that we did round the other side. Yeah. So just turn that round so I can see that. There we go. Hook it round there and loop it back through the last loop you did, and that'll then secure it in place. And if it gets tight like that, all you need to do is just get your flat nose pliers and just open it out a little bit and ease it through. As if you just ease it through like that, just tease it
nice,
all the way through. You're not going to end up with the kink, and that's gone through completely now.
Yeah, lovely.
Now, all you need to do the second row is exactly the same, to repeat that. But for this, I'll just do the single row, because that's exactly how we've done it on the bracelet and in the necklace as well. But literally, rows again, which sit in between what we've got there. So to do the ring, whatever round mandrel you've got, if you're using a mandrel and you're using it by size, try and make it a couple of sizes bigger than what you need, because by the time we wrap around the shoulders, it's going to bring it down a little bit. So all I'm going to do is bring the wire around a couple of times.
Okay.
Because it's not secured at this point, you've got the time to push it together, keep it really kind of neat and tidy. For the first one, you can just pull the wire round underneath.
Lovely.
And then I'm just going to turn that round and do the same on the other side. And again, by doing it with the two halves of the wire, you're securing it in the middle, so you're not having to worry about all of the strands being secured at the same time.
Fantastic, yeah.
So just pull it round underneath there. Now, it's not fully secured, but it'll hold itself at that point.
Okay.
And then all you need to do to finish the ring, really, is to take each of the wires and you're going to go through the centre of the ring shank. And then underneath, you're going to pull it tight, but not so that it bunches that together, because you don't want to, you've spent time keeping those parallel next to each other, you don't want to pull it so tight that it bunches them together.
Exactly, yeah.
So effectively, instead of wrapping around in a round, you're wrapping around in an oval. If you can remember that when you're working with multi-strands on a shank of a ring, you're going to keep the nice neat look of the ring underneath as well.
Nice, that's a good tip.
Because that's quite often, people are like, wow, my rings don't look very neat. It's like, use tension when you're pulling round, but actually make sure it goes flat and then round the top. So you're actually just doing that.
Yeah,
so I'm going to just go
tip.
2 or 3 times round.
Fantastic.
I'm going to leave a couple of centimetres, and then all I'm going to do is do a spiral on there. So
nice.
Very simple. Again, if you're unsure if anything's crossed over or anything, you can do this. So I'm going to turn that round with just my round nose pliers, and then tuck that in slightly so you get a little bit neater. I'm just going to very quickly use my flat nose pliers to curl that in, and I'm actually going to sit that down where the shank is underneath where I've wrapped round.
You can actually see how Louise has finished off the piece here. It's really pretty. Nice feature, that.
Yeah, so it fits in with the whole thing, because there's lots of spirals and swirls in the whole design as well. But again, if you're not quite so neat, you can you can use spirals to cover things up.
Yeah.
So you would just repeat that at the other side, and that's your ring. So literally minutes.
That's so simple and easy. I love it. Yeah, fantastic. Now, moving on now to the necklace.
Yes.
I wouldn't even know where to start with this, Louise. Oh gosh, where did you start?
I started by laying out. So if I move this on here and do a rough idea of what I did, I had an idea that I wanted to put druses at a certain point, and I've used one of them in my thing as well.
I can get you another one of them. I can get it for you.
So it's kind of laying them out roughly where I wanted them, and then interspersing them with the garnets and things. Thank you. Okay. And I decided that I wanted a garnet in the middle rather than the druzy. I wanted them all offset slightly. So I was kind of working it out and literally just placing them roughly, and then I had, as I started placing these, and I thought, oh, I've got that down at the centre, I could add a drop off that. So it kind of was organic even when I was thinking of it at this. So this would be different even this time. If I did it again, it'd be different. So I'm literally just laying out like that. And what I did was take a picture of it, because it's going to move as you move the wire and you lay it back down and stuff, but it gives you an idea of going back to it. So if you've got a handy, your phone or a camera, quickly take a picture of it, how it's laid out, because you're undoubtedly going to knock it, as I did many times. I was making it all slides to the front, but at least then you can go back to it. But it gives just your brain a bit of an idea of where you want to go. It's not a set in stone thing, but it gives you that kind of idea.
Okay.
And so how I did start was actually with that garnet in the very centre.
Lovely. So that's that one there.
It is, yeah.
Lovely.
I pop that back down.
Yeah, go for it.
So I put it to the centre of the wire, and actually that's done in about 4 pieces of wire.
I was going to say how much wire do you have, because it doesn't look like you've got a huge amount there, and there's obviously a lot in this necklace.
Yeah, because it's quite intricate and there's lots of spirals and swirls and things that go inside and out and round. You don't want to have too much of a weapon in your hand.
A whipping device, yes.
Yeah. When you're kind of turning them around, it's quite easy for just the end to kind of catch your hand or whatever. But you know, just work in small sections, and I'll show you how you can attach them together, because it is really easy. So for this, I literally, instead of creating a spiral, creating the round nose pliers for the centre of the spiral, I used the bead. So I'm literally wrapping the wire just with my hands around the gemstone. And then if you've got enough turns round, you can leave it like that, or if you want another one, that's fine. You can have it coming slightly further out if you want it to have a little bit more dimension.
Cool.
So we've got almost like an eye shape there this time.
Yeah, I like it.
And then to secure it, wrap it around the other piece of wire just once. That's all you need to do, and that kind of gives you 2 sides to then go on and do the next bit. So for example, we might want to do a rose quartz next. So literally we're threading it on, and then to anchor that in place, the most common thing I've done is done a little loop. So again, very similar to how I did around the druzy. So we're just popping in the round nose pliers and turning it. So we've got that, and then that anchors that into position. You've got a little bit of movement, so it is going to move when you wear it.
Lovely.
But again, it's kind of in that fixed position. But say I wanted a little bit more decoration on this side, but not a bead. This technique, it makes the gemstones go such a long way. I mean, literally 2 strands and 5 druzies, it's gone such a long way. You can actually do a spiral, but in the middle of your necklace, or a middle of a piece of wire. It doesn't have to be always at the end. Okay. Which is a really handy one to do. So I've left a little bit of a gap and put my round nose pliers just on there. I'm going to do 1 small loop first, and then I'm going to reposition the pliers just so that I can pull it round just manually the first time round, and keeping it next to it as if you were doing a spiral, so you're starting to see that there. Yeah. And then I'm just going to get the flat nose pliers in, and you've got a bit more of an anchor point now to pull round.
Oh, I see, that's really nice, I like that.
So you start in there to spiral. You can do this now as big as you want.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And this is also one of the techniques I use to actually join the wire together, because there's so many spirals and swirls and things in there, you've got a tiny hole in the centre. You can do a little spiral on another piece of wire. So if I do that very quickly now, it doesn't even have to be a very neat one. If you can do ones where you keep the round nose pliers in there and just kind of create an elongated one, really. So
it's just so nice. It's lots of different little pieces, but they've all been connected together. It's really nice.
Yeah, I tend to work like that. Lots of different, kind of techniques that then you pull together. Depending on the design, they'll go in a different way. So we've got a tiny little spiral there, and then say this was at the end of the wire, we could pop it into the hole of that spiral. Just flatten that down.
And a spiral within a spiral.
Yeah, and then to secure it properly, just take it back through the end piece.
So you're creating almost like a hinge for it.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So
I like that.
It can pull out if you don't do that. You don't have to secure it like this, but it's better.
Yeah, definitely.
If you do, to just pull that through there, and then just easing it through if you haven't got the time to go in there. There we go. So then you've got your wire coming through there, and you can go off and do another spiral and things.
That's gorgeous. They connect together beautifully.
It's really manageable to work this just in small sections and to do that as well. And where I wanted to add the drops on, I literally just, where I'd done a drop here like this, I did that, but to make it secure, I actually did a wrapped loop.
Okay, yeah, nice.
So I took the wire around there, and then did a couple of swirls just around the bead, so that it came back up, so it was ready to then go off and do the next
decorative
bit.
And it's anchoring it.
Yeah, and then you just literally use another loop on whatever you're dangling from that to attach it to it.
That's fantastic. Can you show us how you did? Can you show us how you do these little bead caps on top of the rose quartz? That'd be really nice to see. I'm really interested in seeing how Louise has done this part which again is something which you can just add on at random intervals. You don't necessarily need to. You don't necessarily need to have it in the planning when you're making this piece. It's something which you can just add on. It's so lovely.
It did. I originally thought I'll just do one, and then I'm like, actually no, I'll balance it out and do another two.
Yeah,
so yeah, I've done three in the end.
That's nice, isn't it? It's gorgeous.
So we've got the starting point on the board that we've just shown. So that's where it's going to drop from. I'm going to do a simple wrapped loop at the bottom of this to go at the bottom. So I've created a loop, and I'm going to wrap the end around there. It's just the standard wrapped loop technique. If you need to, just get the flat nose pliers and tuck it in. You can cut that off later as well.
Such an easy wire to work with this, isn't it? It's amazing.
For 0.8, it's really malleable.
Good.
So then we've got the rose quartz. Pop that on there. So you've got a loop at the top. That's actually going to be what the garnet's going to hang from.
Ah, right. I see.
So you're working that way up. And then at the top, I'm going to do the same. But obviously, I've got a lot of wire here. So I'm going to turn at the top, leave a bit of room for the wrapping.
Okay.
Go back around the round nose pliers to create your loop. Wrap around, and then because it's so malleable, I'm hardly putting any pressure on this wire at all.
It's so simple.
And it just follows the pattern.
It just falls into place, doesn't it? That's amazing.
It will just sit next to it. And you could do that halfway down. If I carried on, I could do that halfway down the bead, or you can leave it at that point.
That'd be nice.
You want me to carry on?
Yeah, definitely.
So
it's like a little cocoon. It's beautiful.
It is literally just carrying on like that. And then when you get to the end, just turn a little loop on it, and then the sharp end is not going to catch anybody, and it looks decorative on the side of it as well.
Yeah, that's gorgeous. Speaking of these beautiful little rose quartz dangles you've got here, you've got one here, which is really lovely, but you've also got one on the back of the necklace as well.
Yeah.
Which is really effective, a really nice piece on the extender chain. And I can't help but notice you've made your own clasp here as well.
I did.
Is this out of the 0.8 as well?
It's all out of the 0.8.
How have you done that then? How have you made that clasp?
It's as I was where I was up to with the wire, so the pieces that were at the back, I just carried on and did the clasp with it.
It'd be lovely to see that.
Yeah.
Because of course this is something which you can apply to loads of different pieces of jewellery, not necessarily just the project with Louise, which Louise is working on. The more inventive and the more confident you get with the wire work, the more inventive and incredible your wire work will become. But I think having something, having something as fantastic as a handmade clasp on the back of your jewellery is really going to set you apart, I think, to other jewellery makers. But having that ability, having that skill.
And you can say 100% this is made by me.
Yeah.
You know, it's not even findings that have been bought in, it's made by you, which is brilliant. And it fits with the design, so you've got the green flowing all the way through, and then it's not stopped by having something else.
Exactly, yeah. So. Perfect. Okay, yeah, let's have a look at this then. Got one on here as well.
I have. Lovely. Right, so I've just put a bead on there as if it was the rest of the necklace. And then, I'll grab that in a second. To do the hook part of it, what we're going to do is decide how long, where the hook wants to be. So say the hook wants to be about here. You want to go double the length of it. So you're going to double it back on itself. And then with the flat nose pliers, just bring those together. If you've got nylon pliers and you're less confident, you can do this bit with nylon pliers. Although if you're confident with wire, the cutting won't come off if you're careful as well. And then what we're going to do is hold those together there, and then use this end to wrap around here.
Ah, okay.
So that's going to secure that round.
Yeah.
I can just grab those. There we go. So you can finish that with a little spiral, or I just tucked mine in between the beads because there was a bit more left.
Okay.
And then, so you've got that length, and then what you're going to do is, so you know where the hook needs to be, you're going to put your round nose pliers in, and then bend that round, and that gives you the main part of the hook.
Lovely.
And then if we turn that over, what you do with the end, partly to be functional, partly to be decorative, you turn that end over.
And a little kink.
Yeah. And you've got your hook there.
Yeah, you can see that. That's fantastic. Yeah.
So at the other end, if I can use the ring mandrel. Actually.
Yeah, that'd be useful to see.
So exactly the same. So imagine this was the other end of the bracelet. And this time I'm going to wrap around here, and I'll do it quite near the front, because actually what I did do was use the multi-shape mandrel and use one of the rounds, but then I pulled it into an oval.
Ah, right.
Because the ovals on the multi-shape mandrel were too big. So I did one of the rounds and then shaped it myself.
Yeah.
So create your round shape on there, and then you're going to do a wrapped, effectively a really large wrapped loop. So you've got a hook.
I see.
Well, there's your loop that you would go in. If you want the round, brilliant. If you don't, you can just get your round nose pliers in there, hold it firmly here and just pull.
Ooh.
And you'll elongate it slightly, and I felt that the elongated shape fitted with the design better.
Yeah,
if you want a round shape, then you can use that.
Yeah.
Absolutely, no, not a problem. And then obviously the hook would then hook into that loop, and you've got your clasp.
Isn't that fantastic? What an amazing, amazing, amazing collection. Was there anything that you found that when you were putting this collection together or when you were making it, you thought, I wish I'd have known that, and then you had to start again?
Yeah.
Or any particular tip which you think would be useful for anyone watching this today and anyone coming in to get this bundle?
A couple of times when I did the loops, I did exactly what I did there, and I wrapped it and fastened it before I'd attached it to something else.
Oh, Louise, a schoolboy error.
It is. I was just so engrossed with the design that I did that. But I just even with an 0.8, you can make your own jump rings, and actually that's how I attached the one on the back. So you can make those very simply around your round nose pliers. Cut them with either flush cutters or your memory wire cutters, and use a little jump ring. I
think the important thing to realise is the 0.8mm gauge wire, which is actually quite a thick gauge of wire, is not only really, really easy to work with, but look at how effortlessly the gemstones go onto that wire. Louise wasn't struggling at all to get the gemstones onto the physical wire, and that can sometimes be a bit of a letdown with certain gemstones and wire. All of these gemstones, the garnets, the rose quartz, and of course the druzy, fit so beautifully onto this 0.8mm gauge wire. It really is lovely to see this piece, and you don't necessarily need to be an expert at wire work.
Not at all.
Your piece will look different to Louise's piece. I'd be worried if it looked exactly the same because it is so intricate. There's so much going on here, but hopefully you've been inspired by all of the qualities which Louise has brought in here. Everything from these. How to make your ring with those gorgeous little petals where you're literally turning the flower inside out. Yeah. The petals are green and you've got this gorgeous druzy. You could do that with the garnet or the rose quartz, don't forget. Everything from this to how to make the beautiful bead caps, to how to physically start off the piece of jewellery as well. You're starting from the centre. And as Louise quite rightly said, this necklace is 4 or 5 different pieces all hooked together. So don't be intimidated and think that you've got to make it all in one go, because you probably wouldn't be able to make it all in one go. It'd be way too difficult, wouldn't it?
It's much more manageable in pieces, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. So if you make lots of different pieces, slot them all together, then you can draw the symmetry through either the gemstones that you physically set there or by the tassels, as Louise has done here. It's just a lovely, lovely, lovely bundle to put together. One step further, what else would you add onto this bundle if you could add anything onto it you wanted? Jewellery maker related, of course.
Because I love wire, I'd probably put in some 1mm wire, because then you could extend it even further by making your own chain links as well, to actually space the beads out a little bit more, or make a kind of bangle style bracelet. But actually, or maybe some chips, so you get the small texture detail as well. So those are the two things I'd put in.
Yeah. So if you do want to add either chips or nuggets, or you want to add 1mm gauge wire or any other wire for that mentioning onto your order to go with this incredible bundle, which is only $49.95 for 100 metres of wire for your garnet, for your rose quartz and your druzy, then go for it. Just go to our website, which is jewellerymaker.com, and feel free to add things onto this. It's not necessarily about being really rigid and having to make what Louise has made here. It's about Louise inspiring you to make incredible pieces, to be really confident with your wire work. So do go to our website, jewellerymaker.com. We get new products on there every single day of the week. And adding, I think, chips and nuggets onto this would be great. Maybe some prehnite would look really fantastic with this, don't you think?
Yeah.
Some prehnite nuggets, something like that, the really soft, gentle greens. Or go totally the opposite way and add pyrite, some golds, or something like that. Add loads and loads of different qualities onto this. And it could take you through into evening, make it really dressy, really nice and relaxed. Thank you so much, Louise. That's been absolutely awesome. Thank you very much. Well, I know you will have been inspired by watching Louise's techniques today. Do watch out, because we are going to be bringing you more Design by Louise sections as well over the next few weeks as well. So thank you very much for joining us today. I know you've clearly spent a lot of time with us, which is wonderful. She's obviously loved every second of it as well. Loads of different techniques combined together. Thank you very much for joining us today. Get busy and go to our website if you want to add anything else onto your order. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Bye.